Okay, gang, in this video I want to demonstrate the solver function in Excel, and to do that we're going to employ the problem we talked about in class. Recall that there were 6 projects. Each of those projects had a value. Each of those projects had a cost, and we wanted to select those projects that made overall value the highest, subject to we've only got 420,000 to spend. Okay, so to do that, I want to set this sheet up properly. So I'm going to have a column here called adopt, and this is where I'm going to make the decision, and I'm going to begin by putting ones in those cells, meaning we're going to adopt all the projects. Alternatively, we're going to make those cells, some of those cells 0, in which case we won't adopt the particular project. Once we have that, those values in place, now we can start to do something. So I'm going to come down here and compute total value, and to do that I'm going to use the sum product function. I'm going to first put in the array under values and then the array under adopt. Now what that does is you multiply 100 by 1, 80 by 1, 75 by 1, and so on. And once it does all those 6 products, it simply adds those products up. So in fact, this gives us the total value of all the projects. So for instance, if we were to come up here and not choose project 6 by making this cell 0, the value should be reduced by 80, so it should go to 515. I hit return, and in fact it does. It goes to 515. So I'm going to write that back to 1. Let's do the same thing for total cost. So I'm going to put in that array of costs. There's my decision. There we go. The total cost is 830 if we were to adopt all the projects. Of course, we only have 420 to spend, hence we can't adopt all the projects. So what we could do is come on up here and start adjusting these things manually. For instance, if I choose not to adopt the first project, my cost should fall by 240. So that 830 should go to, what, about 590. So put a 0 in there, and in fact it does go to 590. Well, let's just keep zeroing these projects until we get something feasible. Now we got something feasible. If we don't adopt projects 1, 2, and 3, equivalently we adopt projects 4, 5, and 6, you'll see that the total cost is 400, and that's feasible. Total value is 340. But that might not be the highest value. It might be that some other combination of projects will give us a total cost no greater than 420 and result in a higher value. So rather than go through all those permutations and ourselves, we're going to let the machine do that. Now, under the command data, if I come over here under this subcommand structure data analysis, there's normally something over here called solver, because that's the command I want to issue. But solver's not there, and indeed in some of the platforms you guys use, solver will not be installed. So what I want to do now is show you how to install the solver. So let's come over here to File, and we'll hit Options, and then we're going to hit add-ins. And you can see here's a list of active add-ins and then inactive add-ins. And you can see down here that the solver add-in is inactive. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to come down here and hit go. And then it's going to give me this opportunity to install it. So I'm going to just click on the solver add-in. And I'm going to go OK. And now the solver appears. All right, so let's hit solver. And gosh, I've already got this model set up. I want to take you through the setup of the model. So let me just get rid of this model, and then we'll build it from scratch. All right. We're going to set the objective to be total value. So let's just come down here and click on cell E11. That then inputs that this tells the machine we want to make E11 as big as possible. We could minimize it, but obviously we want to maximize it. And to do that, we're going to change cells E4 to, I guess, E9. Sorry, F4 to F9. We got to add some constraints. So let's say, okay, total cost has to be less than or equal to 420. And one more set of constraints to add. We've got to make these values, our decision variables, we've got to make those bin or binary. So what that does, that binary constraint does, is all values in the range F4 to F9 have to take on the value 1 or 0, which is what we want. Okay, so that model's set up. We simply have to hit solve to get a solution. So it says solver found a solution. All constraints and optimality conditions are satisfied. We want to keep solver solution, so let's go OK. So there. It's picked projects 2 and 3, and then projects 5 and 6. The total cost is 420, so indeed we have a feasible solution. And the total value is 385, and then that is going to be the highest value we can possibly find with this group of 6 projects, the highest value for a feasible solution. Okay, so that's how you use the solver function.